Hi guys, Lucas from Lucas Cars. Today we're back, first video of the year. Hopefully everyone had a nice Christmas and all that sort of New Year celebration-y stuff. Whatever you did, hopefully it was a good time. Slightly been delayed, I guess, on like the videos just because obviously that whole end of Christmas celebration period, just kind of been enjoying myself and that sort of thing. I kind of film car things as and when we do stuff, so I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to have to put a video out sort of thing. So if I didn't do anything, I didn't film it. There's been stuff going on which I haven't filmed, which is controversial to what I've just said, but I'll kind of update you, I guess, now on kind of what those things have been. So starting off with the Mondeo, which she's outside, lovely Mark IV estate, titanium, fine machine. I don't really do anything on that, like video wise or anything, it's just kind of just the daily driver. We went for its MOT last week, or this week I suppose, and it failed, so I was like, ah shit, not good. So basically sorted that out yesterday, which I think is pretty much sorted now, so we had to change the rear arm, which I'll show you, which is over here, which is, ta-da! I can't show you the new one because the new one's already on the car, but as you can see, it wasn't actually this bad, but it was like half of it was corroded out, and I just hit it with a hammer out of just to see how weak it was, because it's obviously quite crusty and not great really. Obviously the Monday is the tow rig, so we want it to be safe. Obviously that was picked up on the MOT, it's been sorted. Brand new part on was like £45 from GSF, I think it was called, which they were really good. Managed to get the part next day, so happy days. The other thing it failed on as well was a brake light, which obviously, you know, is a pretty standard thing. If you're really bothered, you can Google my car and look at everything on it. There's loads of advisories and stuff, but I think it's one of them with garages, they kind of try and pick you up on loads of things like tyres and other little nitpicks. But the main things that it failed on was that, which I'm putting out, brake light, and then there's also power steering, which with that, it's kind of a bit of a weird one. Been quite stiff for a while, so like when you're driving it'll be a bit notchy, so like you turn it a little bit and it like clunks sort of thing. Kind of just got on with it, it's not really been any issues or anything. It's a little bit stiff sometimes, but kind of one of them you kind of learn to drive with little nitpicks on your car. I'm not thought it's been a massive issue. They obviously picked it up and were like, yeah, that's bad, you can't drive like that. And I was like, okay. Looked into it a little bit, did a power steering flush, which seems to have lightened up the steering quite a lot, and it doesn't lock when it goes to like it's kind of like 2 o'clock if it's on a clock, about that sort of position, not far, and it'll like clunk, but it doesn't do that anymore, which is good. And all we did was just a power steering flush on that, and the power steering before we changed it was like murky brown, which is meant to be like not that colour, that's like dirty and bad. So we've done that, so that car should be good now. I'll be going for an MOT in the week. This will probably be uploaded on Sunday, so it'll be within the week after Sunday, if that makes sense, if you're interested. But that kind of finishes that off for now. 350 updates on this. I've also been doing bits on this as well, which I haven't filmed, just because I've kind of been the one of just trying to crack on with stuff and not necessarily filming it, which is the wrong way to go by it, but we kind of panicking. Lucas tries to get stuff done quickly. So as you can see, we've got a new brake line on it now. This is what me and Alex crafted up the other day. A little bit of a tricky one. I've never done brake lines before. The thing itself's quite basic, like you just get your brake line, which they sort of like Halfords and any other sort of like automotive store, bend it to shape, and then you also have fittings as well that go on the end. You have to like, I can't remember what it's called, but you have like this press machine that you put on the end. Flare, Alex has just shouted flare to me. You flare the end of it, so basically that fitting that's on the end doesn't fall off, which you can't see because it's on the inside of that. So it basically stops the pipe from coming out of the fitting, and then it like threads in, and that's literally it. It's not leaked or anything, we have tested it and it's been okay in terms of that. But in terms of the car, it's not been great for braking because it's very spongy, the pedal is, which my diagnosis of that, which I don't know if is right, but would suggest there's air in the system because we have fluid in the top of the fluid container, whatever you want to call it, and the line's not leaking. So I'd assume, just because if you don't understand what's gone on for why I've changed that, basically there was a crash with the car, hence no headlight, and that had split, so obviously fluid had come out, and obviously that creates an air in the system. We did bleed that brake caliper before we changed it, or when we changed it we bled it, if that makes sense. But I don't know if we have to do the other ones. That's what we're going to be doing today, is just bleeding the rest, just to make sure there's no air, because I'd assume that's why the pedal was spongy, because there's fluid and that's not leaking. So I'd just guess that there's still fluid in the system. Bar that, the car is still the same. This one, so obviously I've got 9.5s and they're 50mm offset. They're obviously 18-inch alloy wheels. These are 10.5s with possibly the same offset. I can't actually remember now. I did look before I ordered them, but I've forgot since. 10mm offset. So they're pretty much close-ish to what the front is, because they're 10s and 12mm offset, so they'll be half an inch wider and then like 0.2 or whatever like in more. But I've done them on the calculator thing and they'll fit. Obviously the 10's on at the front anyway, the 10's are at the back, and which I've also calculated with them. So that's the back wheel again. Sorry if I'm getting all confusing and technical, just trying to understand of where the fitments could lie with it. But that's a 10 as well at the back. I basically run 10s on the car because, yeah, just like the look of the wheel, I guess. It's probably more convenient to have a smaller wheel, but it is what it is. They're 10s, 22mm offset, and they sit in. The car is lowered more now as well. Depends on how many of the videos you watch of mine and know where everything's at and stuff. So they have cambered in a little bit more. It's nothing silly. I think it's still okay to run. It's not going to cause wouldn't cause issues anyway, but it's just about more with tread wear and stuff. I don't want it to be shit if it's like got silly camber on it. But as you can see, we've got a bit to play with. So I've got 25mm space on the other side, same wheel. And this pretty much, there's a website called Will They Fit, and it basically, you put in the specs of your wheels, and it will show you basically how like your offsets and stuff are going to be. Which this with the 25mm spacer on it is very, very close to what them back wheels will be on here, in which it's pretty much perfect really. It's not bad. Sorry about the poor camera abilities, she's trying to focus, but you can kind of see it's good. It looks good. I'm happy with it. You get like a nice bit of clearance. Obviously allows for a bit of travel. These fenders are thin anyway, so there's nothing to hit on the inside of that. They will be going on tomorrow. Depends what I do for this video. Maybe I'm going to bleed the brakes there. That's my main job for today. That's kind of it. And they're getting fitted with tyres tomorrow, so I'll possibly throw that in as well on the video of me getting, not necessarily filming them put on because it's not exciting, but just putting the wheels on just so you can see it, because they go look epic, because it's nice to have. I like shiny wheels. It's one of my things I like on cars is stuff like that. I like these a lot as well, but I prefer that, so hence we have them. I've rambled for ages and I apologise because I just speak way too easily, so I'm going to start with Alex's help doing the brakes now. So just basically just draining them. I'll show you how to do that. It's nothing too extreme or anything, but you just kind of know where we're at and what we're doing if you like to keep up to date with stuff. And then once that's done, I guess it's going to be a little bit tricky to test if the brake pedal's working or not, because we don't have a proper testing facility that we can just nip to. But I guess I'll probably try and gauge it off the pedal feel. And then also we'll get the wheels on, but that'll be tomorrow. But I'll try and slap it all in the video and get this hopefully up on Sunday, because this is currently Saturday, this is being filmed. But we'll see. But yeah, we'll crack on with that and stop rambling. But Happy New Year to everyone anyway. So a little update of where we're currently at. So I've jacked the front up, put it on axle stands, and that's why it looks a bit funny. Just a little quick observation all around, just of what the brake situation's saying. I'm not looking at it yet, but that's just the nipple where you drain it from. All the brake discs, bar one, look like this, so that's pretty normal. The car's been sat for a while, so they were had surface rust, a bit like how the edges are like that, but all across. Obviously the car's been ran and drove a little bit, so it's wiped that off. Apart from this side, which you can see basically what I was just on about, where it's got the rust on it, which suggests to me that this wasn't braking, because it would have basically wiped it off, if that makes sense, because it just rubs it off. Couldn't tell you why that is currently, because we haven't got any leaks or anything on here, which obviously the bit that I've replaced, it comes from here and then it wraps round and then it comes to there. I mean, it was clear, the pipe did everything, we've blown through it and stuff. First thing I'd do is just basically test the foot pedal in the car to, if that's pressed, if this still spins or if it brakes or not, and then we'll also drain through the nipple, which we did do as well, which we'll click in the pedal and it was pushing air out, or air and fluid out. Maybe it just needs more pushing through it, I don't know, but we'll kind of see, and I'll keep you up to date with if we find a solution, or possibly why this is still the case, because I don't believe this is braking, or definitely not as much as the others are. So, update of where we're at. Wheels just gone back on. This side you can see it's still off. So basically, We topped up the fluid, which is over that side, which I've walked away from now, but there's a pot where you put the brake fluid in. We topped that all the way up to the top, so we brimmed it. And then we've got like a brake extractor kit, which what that is basically is you put a tube on there, it's like a nipple, you loosen that off, and then you basically pump the brakes and it'll just push the fluid through, because the fluid comes through and it compresses the brake pads. That fluid will basically go through and it'll come out here, because obviously that's open, and then any air that's in the system will just come through here and it goes into your pot basically, because it's just a tube with a pot with liquid in. We did that on all 4 corners, and quite a bit of air came out, so I'm hoping that's hopefully what the issue was. Hopefully we've done it correctly, I'd like to think. We did a couple of tests of, I know it's only by hand, but of basically me spinning the brake disc, then doing a countdown, and Alex pushing the brake and it basically stopping the calipers. Obviously I know it's not a wheel or the weight of the car, but it's just to identify that it is braking when we're telling it to, and the feel of the pedal. Obviously we'll have to do a little bit of a test just to make sure it is all gravy, but I think possibly a step further in the right direction, because they were shocking yesterday when we tried them. So yeah, it's just where we're at. Put the wheels on, drop the car down, sort of kind of gauge where we're at. Hi guys, it's now Sunday now. It's obviously Saturday when I was filming yesterday. Just to update where we are, so I mentioned that I was getting the wheels sorted, which they are now on said tyres. I'm not going to obviously film putting them on, because we all know how to put wheels on, probably. So I'm going to slap them on the car, and then you can see them on. I'm going to take it out as well and roll it out so you can see it properly, and we can have a look at where the fitment is and if I've calculated things correctly or not. But look at the dish on there, it's beautiful. But yeah, let's get it installed and see what she's saying. The wheels are on now. I did just record this, I'm going to be honest with you, and then my mic died, so I'm now doing it again, but I kind of just film stuff as how it is anyway. But look at that, she looks fantastic. The fitment's great. It looks great. The car looks battered, but she's a drift car, so she isn't going to be perfect. But it's just nice to see it out in the open and show you guys a bit of the car not stuck in a garage, because you can't appreciate it properly when it's inside. So at least you've got some more outside viewage. Just so you know what the specs are if you are interested. So they're both 18-inch alloys, 9.5 to the front, 50mm offset. Tyres you can see there, I'm not going to read them out, but if you're that interested, they're there. Pretty standard size that I'll run on the drift car is that size, even though the back is different, but I'll show you them as we get to them. Fitment is a little bit of poke. It's not perfect, because in terms of my tracking is off, and my toe out is slightly, I've been messing around with it, so she isn't set up yet alignment wise, so the wheel looks maybe a little bit off, but in terms of, I have poke anyway, it's kind of how I like to run the front end of the car, is a bit pokey, so you got like, when you turn you've got just a bit of extra steering. Enough of that anyway, talking about alignment and whatnot. The back is the main one, which I wanted to make sure was right. Used to run 10s on the back, these are 10.5, so we've gone up half an inch. This is a 10mm offset, and it's a 10.5. The tyres that we are running on these are 255s by 40s. So we got a little bit of stretch on them, which works really well because the front's like super square, and then this is like got a nice like. Just look at that, it's fantastic. Obviously there'll be suspension travel, so when the car drops down, but that should fall in because it's got a nice like thing, so the wheel will go up and in rather than hitting that is the plan. But just kind of want them to appreciate it. You might be able to hear the car is on a little bit. I might potentially get a little clip of it to treat you guys, but I'm just happy with it. The car is looking good. She's almost ready to go. I need to address the brakes again because I haven't quite sorted that out for how I wanted to yet. But yeah, the boys are just chilling there, having a good time. There's also Gabby back on the video as well. He's first video of the year with Gabby in it. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm just moving away. It's just fine.
Look at the sunset though. Actually, wow, we can appreciate the sunset. Click the camera so she does. Nah, she's not doing it now. But yeah, sunset and stuff. Anyways, there isn't any much else I can really add to today's video. The main thing was bleed the brakes, which hasn't really worked. We tested it yesterday after we bled them and it was fine and it was better, but now moving the car today, the brake was questionable. If you pump it, it worked, but if you went like, it did it twice rolling down like the lane that we're on, and pressed it and it went all the way flat and it didn't brake. But then if I pulled it back and then went again, it would then break. So I think there's still air in there somewhere. So just got to basically try and identify that and get it out. Possibly an issue with how I bled them before, but we'll have a look into it. Nothing too major, I don't think. But yeah, hopefully you've liked the first video of the year. Hopefully I'll get it up tonight on Sunday. If not, it'll be a Monday release. But it's basically just been a little quick vlog of what my weekends consisted of. Fun fact, don't put them tyres on the front because they were really hard to get on, if you remember what size they were. So Alex doing some good dancing in the background. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Before I ramble too much, because it's easily done, a little bit of an introduction to the car and starting off the year, I think, well, with some pretty wheels. So till next time, guys, catch you later. Bonus clip, we don't drive with the front bumper on because it's too low on this lovely lane that we're driving on. He's got my bumper. He's like, what? Yeah!